I want to do the biggest Pokemon and TCG auction ever. I will give you a piece of every single thing that we sell. We're going to use that as the honey to draw all the other bees. It's free money.
I think the deal needs to be sweet. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Logan is walking out of here with $2.5 million in hand as an advance against the final proceeds. And he's getting a percentage of everything we sell in this special auction.
Logan Liquid Marketplace Paul, aka Scam Daddy, owns the most famous Pokemon card in the world. It's been worn in a WWE ring, flashed across podcasts, and talked about like it's a smarter investment than the stock market. And today, it's being auctioned for a minimum of $6.3 million and counting. But now, collectors aren't just asking how much it's worth. They're asking if Logan is faking the lore of the card in real time. Because between sketchy grading histories, a controversial reslabbing, non-stop hype, and a public auction maximizing profits, the Pokemon community is realizing this card isn't just rare. It's a setup for the worst scam in TCG history. Now, you guys loved my last video about this situation, so today we're going to go in even deeper detail and show you just how dark and twisted this is getting. As of right now, the latest public offer on Logan Paul's Pikachu Illustrator card sits at over $6.324 million on Ken Goldin's platform called Goldin Auctions. $6.3 million for a piece of cardboard. And that number alone tells you how far this thing has gone off the rails. This is a global live bidding war where every single new number becomes a headline, a screenshot, and a debate across the entire Pokemon community. Logan and Ken Goldin have shown how far attention can push a price when millions of people are watching the same listing refresh in real time. Because when you combine the fact that Logan is making literal YouTube videos hyping the price and realize Ken has a Netflix show that features this item, every bidder isn't just buying an expensive card. They're buying a piece of internet history and bragging rights to owning a perfect PSA 10. I don't know who they're bragging to since no women care about this, but whatever. What if I told you this card is far from perfect? In fact, it's all a lie. So right before the card was set to go to auction through Goldin Auctions, it was sent back to PSA to be reslabbed.
Hey Logan, how's it going? I got some news for you. I want to show you something. You look at the holder.
Oh, is that a new slab?
That is a brand new 2026 PSA slab, examined today, because you know why? I couldn't have the most coveted card in the world in any other holder except the most beautiful state-of-the-art holder.
The official explanation was simple. Logan had worn the card as a necklace, the slab got scratched. Now on the surface that makes sense. Make it look cleaner or more luxurious and sell it for more. But this set the collector world on fire, because anytime a card goes back into PSA's system, even for a reslab, there's always a high possibility that the grade could change, and usually lower at that, especially since somebody new is handling the card. And when you're talking about a card that some people already believe is borderline, more on that in a bit, the timing of this raised some eyebrows. Collectors started asking, if this card is truly a PSA 10, why touch it at all? Why not auction it exactly as it was, in the same slab it became famous in? To some, the reslabbing looked like a great business move, but to others, it looked like pressure or the beginnings of robbing the future winner of the auction. So when the card came back still labeled a PSA 10, it didn't settle the debate. It made it way worse. But this debate only helps Logan and Ken. The more people talk, the more people bid. Remember this throughout the rest of the video. But back to the PSA 10. See, in the grading world, a PSA 10 isn't just a label. It's the standard of what a flawless card is. Perfect corners, perfect edges, perfect centering, perfect surface. Under magnification, harsh lighting, and microscopic inspection, it's supposed to hold up. But as collectors looked into past images in the history of Logan's Pikachu Illustrator, they completely exposed how overvalued this card is. They pointed out some things like bad centering, white edges, and the small fact that this card used to be a PSA 9. I mean, the last owner didn't give two Pikachu shits about it, but it's a huge deal because everyone knows the difference between a PSA 9 and a PSA 10 can mean hundreds, thousands, and in this case, millions of dollars. So people realized right when Logan got it, it suddenly became the only perfect 10 on earth. No, that's legit, not sketchy at all. And people have started speculating if PSA gave Logan celebrity treatment or if they have an under-the-table deal going. Because having a card go from a 9 to a 10 is nearly impossible on its own, but to have a vintage card from 1998 be handled multiple times and go from a 9 to a 10, everyone knows something's up. So collectors have been calling bullshit on Logan and on PSA. And to truly understand why this situation matters so much, you have to understand how much power PSA actually holds. See, PSA doesn't just grade cards. They define reality and value for the hobby. A single number on a slab can turn a $50,000 card into a $500,000 card, or turn a Grail card into just another copy. Collectors have talked for years about grading inconsistencies. Some people crack slabs and resubmit the same card multiple times, and sometimes they'll go from like a PSA 7 to a PSA 10. Sometimes lower, sometimes higher, sometimes the same, but they have a bad track record of having no consistency. And oftentimes a good grade depends on if your grader is a seasoned veteran with a good heart or got laid the night before your cards came. But when the most expensive Pokemon card in the world becomes part of that conversation, it changes everything. Because now this isn't about one collector winning or losing a few $1,000s. This is about whether fame, money, and attention can influence authority. And if grading is truly objective, then Logan's card is just a perfect copy owned by a celebrity. But because grading is subjective, this card has become something else entirely. A preview for how Logan will use his power and fame to rob some person of over $6 million. Now let's talk about the Goldin auction. Here's the part most people never get to see. High-end auctions aren't like eBay. They feel like poker rooms. Private collectors, wealth managers, investors who treat art, watches, and Pokemon cards like financial instruments. I mean, a lot of these buyers are some of the richest people on the planet. People that use Bitcoin for purchases or made stocks their entire personality. But when the auctions start to heat up, they become dangerous. Because at a certain point, people stop buying the item. They just want to be the one to brag to their friends that they spent $6 million and won the Pikachu Illustrator card. Now combine that with the fact that Logan's YouTube videos are getting millions of views and that Ken Goldin's Netflix show is all over the front page of most Netflix accounts. Now this auction has cameras, headlines, and millions of viewers watching the price climb. That's not your normal auction. It reflects a money grab, and Logan's hands are completely full. Now here's where the story gets real. Some collectors don't believe this is about Logan selling a rare card. They believe this is about Logan furthering his brand. Because what better way than to use the hype of a Pokemon card, something attached to nostalgia and emotion, to increase eyeballs on something bigger afterwards? Like, I don't know, a WWE match, a new Prime flavor, or maybe he's just truly using his fame to sell his Illustrator card for way more than it's worth. I mean, after all, he did say this.
You have been trying to get me to sell this card for a while, and after buying a new house, having a child, and spending just an irresponsible amount of money on the wedding, I looked.
You ain't got no liquidity.
I got no liquidity. I'm poor. Took a while to admit to myself, I think I'm ready to move this card. Who better to sell it with than you?
Yep.
I will say, of course, I did shop it around. But you gave me the best deal.
Yep.
And it's on season 3 of King of Collectibles.
If you believe him, let me know in the comments. But if you don't believe him, like and subscribe. But in all seriousness, think about what actually makes a collectible priceless. It's not just rarity, it's a story. The Mona Lisa isn't valuable because it's paint on wood. It's valuable because of the history, the mystery, and the entire story around it. And because she's hot, right? No, I'm just kidding. But everyone's now arguing that Logan Paul's doing something no collector in history has ever been able to do at this scale. He's writing the story of a Pokemon card in real time. First, it becomes the most expensive Pokemon card ever purchased. Then it becomes the only PSA 10. Then it becomes the card worn in a WWE main event. And then it becomes the card discussed across YouTube, podcasts, and mainstream media. Even Fox Business had him on. Then the internet digs into the card and says it's super sus. Ken Goldin reslabs it anyway to cover it all up. It may not make sense, but it has the people talking, and word of mouth's known as the best form of marketing. Every tweet, every Reddit post, all of that adds to the story. And in collectibles, narrative becomes value. Some people see this as brilliant business. Others see it as something way more dangerous, where influence destroys and inflates the true value of an asset. Because if story drives price, then the person controlling the story holds enormous power over the market. And Logan knows this. I mean, if he can do this with Pokemon, what else can he do this with?
This is major.
I got cases.
For what?
I got cases of One Piece.
Is it
I'm a
for fun?
collector.
Is it
I'm a
real?
collector. Hey, One Piece X and Twitter and fan pages.
They're gonna hate it.
Take it away, bro.
God damn it. But anyways, another layer to the story, and one that's getting a lot of heat, is the idea of double standards with PSA. People argue that if any normal collector had this card, it wouldn't be in the news, it wouldn't be sold at one of the biggest auctions in the world. But because Logan Paul is a celebrity influencer, this one card has bigger headlines than entire generations of rare sports cards. That inconsistency bothers hardcore collectors who feel that grading is way less strict when a famous buyer is involved, and market attention equals price manipulation. At its core, the argument boils down to, do influencers get better outcomes just because they're influencers? And for a lot of people in the community, the answer seems to be yes. In my personal opinion, I think it's just a matter of time before someone sues PSA. And the last thing they want is the same fate Liquid Marketplace had. Now, while mainstream media treats the card's value shooting up like the coolest thing since sliced bread, or whatever that dumb saying is, many collectors see something more troubling. They worry that Pokemon collecting is shifting from passion to profit. They argue new buyers are entering purely for money, prices are being driven by attention instead of condition, and celebrity ownership is warping what value even means. For Logan, it's amazing because of the other cards he has. If he can sell this Illustrator for a high price, then he can sell his Charizards, Blastoise, even Kabuto. But for the Pokemon community, this card isn't inspiring. It's a warning sign, a signal that the top of the market is becoming more about who owns the card than what the card actually is. Now, with the auction ending February 15th, we'll have to see how the final result shakes out. And this story isn't just about Logan Paul anymore. People are realizing PSA, Ken Goldin, and anyone else with a large audience and influence on the market have the power to scam everyone. Because if attention adds value, then the most powerful collectors in the world aren't the ones with the rarest cards. They're like Logan, the ones with the biggest audience and the ability to run off with millions while screwing over the fan base that gave them their platform in the first place. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Do you think Logan is just an amazing businessman or a con artist who's on the verge of being exposed to the entire world? And if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe. I'm so close to being monetized, and I'll never use the money to hold a $6 million auction for a piece of cardboard, I promise. And if there's one message to take away from this video, it's this: if you trust influencers with your money, you're cooked. Please don't let that be you. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, got a laugh or two in there, and I'll see you in the next one.